Ever wondered how the Amish keep their chicken coops warm in the dead of winter without gas or electricity? In this video, we'll uncover the ingenious methods that allow Amish farmers to protect their flocks through brutal cold snaps. Relying entirely on natural resources, careful planning, and timeless know-how. You'll see why these practical, low-tech strategies offer so many lessons for off-grid living, sustainability, and cost saving. Even if you're not part of an Amish community, from deep litter composting to clever insulation, each technique showcases a level of resilience that modern technology often overlooks. Number 1. Foundational principles and practical challenges. Amish communities follow deeply held values that emphasize self-reliance, modesty, and separation from certain forms of modern technology. These principles influence their decisions about heating a chicken coop without gas or electricity, forcing them to rely on resourceful strategies passed down for generations. Many Amish communities occupy regions with harsh winters, including parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and even areas in southern Ontario. In those climates, a chicken coop must stay sufficiently warm to ensure poultry health and steady egg production. The major challenge emerges from the fact that hooking up to the electrical grid or relying on propane-fired systems often goes against local ordnance guidelines, so the Amish employ methods that make use of natural resources, hands-on labor, and practical know-how rather than mechanized conveniences. Outside observers, after visiting Amish farms or watching documentaries made by non-Amish filmmakers, often describe how these communities create well-insulated, robust structures that effectively capture and retain heat despite freezing conditions. Amish elders generally teach new generations the importance of planning the coop's location and design to mitigate harsh winds and optimize sunlight. That goes hand in hand with carefully selected building materials. In some neighborhoods, the families will scavenge or purchase secondhand lumber at local auctions, then repurpose the boards to frame the walls. This not only saves money, but also aligns with their resourceful mindset. During construction, an additional focus falls on reinforcing potential heat loss points, such as doorways and corners. Some families stack up straw bales or thick quilts around the coop's perimeter to reduce drafts that can sap interior warmth. Meanwhile, the roof might be slightly pitched or angled to accommodate ventilation, ensuring that moisture from droppings and natural respiration does not accumulate. The aim is to control humidity because dampness increases the risk of frostbite on chickens' combs and wattles, especially when temperatures plummet. Off-grid publications and blogs often spotlight the deep litter method as a staple in Amish poultry operations. This technique layers bedding, commonly straw, sawdust, or pine shavings, on the coop floor and allows the materials, along with chicken droppings, to gradually decompose. The natural breakdown of organic matter creates a subtle heat source, reducing the need for supplemental energy. Proper management is key. The litter must be turned or fluffed at intervals to introduce oxygen, ensuring that microbial activity remains aerobic. By the time the bedding is replaced, it has transformed into a nutrient-rich compost suitable for gardening, a crucial aspect of Amish life, as many families grow large gardens to feed their households. This cyclical process reflects the broader ethos: nothing is wasted, and every resource is channeled back into the land. Amish farmers also account for the fact that chickens generate body heat, especially when roosting together. By building roost bars in a compact pattern, farmers allow the birds to share warmth. This setup is crucial for small to medium flocks, where animals can gather close on chilly nights. Care is taken to ensure that roosts stay above ground level, protecting the birds from drafts that sweep near the floor. It's typical to see multiple levels of roost bars so that the flock can position themselves where they are most comfortable. Some Amish families place additional straw bales inside to form semi-partitions, creating cozy, draft-free corners for the birds. Daily observation helps determine if these measures suffice. Should feathers appear ruffled continuously, or if the hens bunch together more than usual, the caretakers might add extra bedding or tweak the coop's airflow. In many Amish regions, families keep multiple livestock species, so the chicken coop might border a larger barn where horses or cows reside. The ambient warmth from the adjacent structure can carry over somewhat, effectively insulating smaller enclosures. Some communities erect shared walls to help trap heat, especially in the coldest months. However, not all districts permit elaborate building modifications, so practical solutions vary widely depending on local rules, personal preference, and the availability of materials. These differences underscore why there isn't one universal Amish blueprint for co-op construction. Instead, each settlement adapts general principles to local contexts, ensuring they can maintain healthy poultry off-grid throughout tough winters. Number 2, adaptive off-grid techniques and resourceful innovations. One commonly discussed method involves placing compost piles near or even beneath parts of the coop's flooring. Organic matter, including straw, manure, kitchen scraps, or yard waste, generates heat as it decomposes, providing a natural source of warmth that radiates upward. The Amish caretaker must monitor the balance between carbon and nitrogen materials to prevent unpleasant odors or excessive moisture. Some farmers rotate fresh layers of straw on top of older layers, encouraging a steady breakdown while keeping ammonia levels manageable. Careful timing ensures that by spring, these piles yield nutrient-rich compost perfect for field application or home gardens. The synergy extends beyond heating. It reduces waste, fosters healthier soil, and lessens reliance on petroleum-based fertilizers. Reports from homesteaders who've adopted Amish-style heating describe another clever trick: capturing solar energy passively. Even though many Amish families refrain from using modern solar panels, they often orient coops to maximize winter sun exposure through windows or translucent coverings. Because the sun is lower in the sky during colder months, windows positioned on the south side allow direct sunlight to warm the interior. Some communities salvage windows from older structures, carefully installing them to create a greenhouse effect. They might even incorporate hinged shutters or thick curtains to cover those windows at night, trapping the residual heat inside. The design remains uncomplicated, avoiding the advanced electronics found in typical solar-powered systems, yet still harnessing nature's energy. In certain communities, there's also the option of a small wood-burning stove. Where permitted, Amish farmers may situate a simple stove, often crafted by local blacksmiths or metalworkers, in a secure enclosure near the coop. Metal piping or ductwork can channel the warm air into the chicken area. However, these stoves are used sparingly and require diligent attention. Fire safety is paramount, so sheet metal or tin plates line the surrounding walls, and stoves are placed on solid surfaces to prevent sparks from reaching straw. Children might not be allowed near the stove unsupervised, and the entire community may share knowledge about stove upkeep. Periodic checks ensure that the vents remain clear of debris, preventing smoke from accumulating around the flock. This approach isn't universal, as some districts frown upon any technology they view as too modern, but those that allow wood stoves find them an efficient way to maintain consistent heat without gas or electricity. An even more minimalistic strategy involves carefully managing lanterns or candles. Although the heat output from a candle is modest, placing several protective lanterns in a small coop can slightly boost the temperature on a frigid night. The Amish who adopt this method usually use lanterns with metal housings that reduce fire hazards, and they place them on sturdy hooks well above bedding. This measure mitigates the risk of accidental tipping or contact with flammable materials. Nonetheless, many families hesitate to rely on open flames in a coop. Indeed, some only employ lanterns in extreme temperatures. The real genius lies in combining multiple approaches: a well-insulated structure, deep litter for metabolic heat, wise orientation for solar gain, and perhaps minimal candle warmth if needed. In synergy, these solutions keep coops comfortable even on sub-zero nights. Number 3, seasonal adjustments and observational methods. While winter heating gets the most attention, Amish caretakers must also consider seasonal shifts to maintain a healthy flock year-round. In late autumn, many farmers transition to thicker bedding or add straw bales around the coop's outer walls. Small vents near the roofline allow humid air to exit, preventing respiratory issues. These vents often come with wooden flaps or sliding covers that can be opened or closed according to daily weather. The level of sophistication varies from simple hinged boards to more refined hand-operated mechanisms, but the goal is the same: preserve warmth while avoiding a buildup of moisture or ammonia. When temperatures moderate in spring, farmers thin out the bedding and remove any auxiliary insulation, such as external straw bales. This helps prepare for warmer days when chickens can easily overheat. Some Amish farmers rig up partial shade solutions, like lattice or burlap curtains near the coop's south side, to limit direct sunlight in the height of summer. Because the birds generate ample body heat, a poorly ventilated coop can become stifling in hot weather, leading to stress and decreased egg production. Opening windows or shutters is essential for airflow. Most Amish designs avoid electric fans or mechanical cooling, so everything hinges on maximizing cross-ventilation. Daily observation stands as another vital factor. In an Amish household, chores are woven into the fabric of everyday life, so it's common to see older children or parents regularly stepping into the coop. These visits are not just about collecting eggs, they're an opportunity to evaluate the temperature, bedding condition, bird health, feed and water levels, and any structural quirks that may need fixing. By catching problems early, like a leaky roof or a drafty gap around a doorway, the caretaker can make immediate repairs without needing a full-scale remodel. This constant vigilance, which some might call old-fashioned, actually epitomizes a hands-on approach that keeps small issues from snowballing into major failures. Blogs that document off-grid living often stress this same lesson. The best tools an Amish farmer has are attentiveness, experience, and willingness to adapt on the fly. Across various Amish settlements, caretakers also consider chicken breed. Many prefer robust, cold-hardy varieties that are more adaptable and can maintain egg production in winter. Breeds like Buff Orpingtons or Barred Plymouth Rocks might appear in multiple farms because they handle cold snaps better than certain high-production hybrids. Without gas or electrical heating, these hardier chickens fare well in slightly cooler coops, saving the farmer's energy and labor. This choice ties into the broader Amish pattern of selecting low-maintenance solutions that align with the environment. So while the caretaker invests extra effort in building or insulating a co-op, the breed's natural resilience does its share in keeping the birds healthy. Number 4, resource allocation, community support, and broader agricultural synergy. The Amish approach to co-op heating often integrates with a wider ecosystem of farming practices. For instance, a robust deep litter set up in the coop yields compost that can be used in the vegetable garden, orchard, or fields, where hay is grown for livestock. Since many Amish farmers cultivate their own feed crops, or at least supplement purchase feed with homegrown grains, the synergy cuts costs and fosters a closed-loop agricultural system. By reducing external inputs such as propane or electric heaters, they lower their dependency on outside markets, in line with the community's philosophy of self-sufficiency. Community gatherings, barn raisings, quilting bees, or church events facilitate the exchange of ideas on everything from co-op design to winter feed regimens. New families glean advice from seasoned farmers, and the knowledge base keeps evolving. If a household struggles with moisture issues in their coop, others might suggest a different type of bedding or a revised vent placement. While the Amish avoid typical modern communication tools like smartphones or computers, word of mouth can spread proven tips quickly within and across settlements. In fact, outsiders who have observed these community interactions note that this network of collective problem solving often resolves challenges more efficiently than relying on specialized professionals or consultants. In regions with harsh winds and heavy snowfall, one might see coops built partially underground or against a slope to harness the Earth's insulating properties. Others might construct windbreaks using rows of evergreen trees or stacked firewood along the prevailing wind side. Some families even design connected barns, where the heat generated by larger animals, like horses or cattle, partially warms the chicken enclosure. The exact approach depends on local regulations, the severity of winters, and personal convictions about how far one can push the boundaries of off-grid innovation without compromising Amish values. Certain districts will allow limited use of gasoline for small engines, so occasionally you'll find families that run a low-tech feed grinder or water pump. However, these solutions rarely extend to full-blown heating systems, as that would defy the cultural preference for simplicity. Curiously, some of the insights found in homesteading YouTube channels actually trace their origins to Amish practices. Enthusiastic content creators, fascinated by the Amish lifestyle, adapt these methods for their own small-scale farms or suburban homesteads. They often credit Amish ingenuity for solutions that reduce reliance on modern utilities. However, the Amish themselves generally do not watch these videos. Instead, each district's knowledge is preserved through lived experience. This organic generational transfer of wisdom gives Amish co-op designs a resilient quality. If a technique fails, the entire community learns and adapts. Over time, the most effective ideas become standard practice, shaped by climate realities and spiritual guidelines. Number 5. Cultural nuances, evolving methods, and lessons for wider audiences. Not every Amish district is identical. The rules regarding permissible tools and designs differ significantly among Old Order Amish, New Order Amish, Beachy Amish, and various subgroups. Some might permit certain battery-powered devices for emergency situations, while others prohibit any form of modern electricity outright. Despite these variations, the common denominator is the determination to live plainly, maintain close community ties, and respect the natural environment. The chicken coop exemplifies this mindset by balancing labor-intensive methods like daily chore rotations and compost turning, with a keen eye for innovation that remains within moral and cultural boundaries. One interesting development in certain areas is the discreet acceptance of minor solar setups, not as a mainstream practice, but more as an experimental approach. In rare cases, a family may have a small solar panel to power an exhaust fan, primarily to improve summer ventilation. Though this is not widespread, it hints at how some communities carefully negotiate changes in technology. A family might receive permission from their bishop if they present a strong case that such an adaptation does not conflict with religious principles. This underscores the complexity of Amish life. Tradition is paramount, but incremental adjustments may occur if they genuinely serve communal well-being. Along with heating, plenty of Amish households address water management in the coop in similarly inventive ways. Without electric heaters to keep water from freezing, they might place waterers in a sheltered alcove warmed by residual heat from a nearby stove or composting area. Another method involves rotating multiple water containers, keeping spares indoors near the house so they never fully freeze. People who emulate these techniques often mention that the extra physical effort, carrying water back and forth, creates a deeper sense of involvement with the animals, leading to more meticulous care. That sense of diligence resonates with the Amish belief that human labor, rather than reliance on external energy sources, fosters humility and closeness to God and nature. When analyzing articles, academic field reports, and anecdotal evidence, one finds that Amish chicken coops rely on the principle that prevention of heat loss is more straightforward than generating large amounts of heat artificially. Thick walls, minimal seams, and strategic orientation collectively preserve the warmth that already exists, whether from composting processes, the chicken's own bodies, or sunlight. Observers often describe Amish farms as quiet, calm places with little machine noise, ideal conditions for poultry to thrive. The lifestyle fosters less stress among the birds, which in turn can help maintain consistent egg production even in cooler temperatures. Though the Amish system does not promise perfect outcomes every time, extreme weather can still challenge even the best insulated coop. It does show resilience and adaptability. Many modern homesteaders, concerned about rising utility costs or potential grid outages, see Amish methods as a blueprint for self-sufficient agriculture. The widespread popularity of YouTube videos featuring Amish-inspired designs indicates a growing interest in simple, low-tech solutions. Critics might argue that the labor demands are high, but proponents counter that the trade-off is freedom from monthly energy bills, a reduced carbon footprint, and a closer connection to the land and livestock. Amish communities continue to refine their methods, occasionally adopting incremental improvements gleaned from interactions with non-Amish farmers, cooperative extension agents, or even personal experimentation. Over time, some families might find new ways to insulate the coop floor, incorporate different composting mixtures, or refine passive solar designs. In many ways, the Amish represent a living laboratory for sustainable off-grid living, informed by tradition, yet open to subtle evolution. While they might not measure success in the same terms as mainstream society, the results are visible in healthy flocks, steady egg production, and coops that remain functional through the coldest winters without relying on external energy. In the end, these strategies illustrate a commitment to working with nature's processes, rather than overpowering them with high-tech solutions. Without gas or electricity, Amish heat a chicken coop primarily by harnessing biological decomposition, passive solar warmth, insulation, and shared bird heat. Seasonal awareness and hands-on observation underpin each decision. Breeds that withstand cold temperatures, communal problem-solving, and minimal reliance on external inputs collectively safeguard both the flock and the Amish ethos. Across blogs, forums, and farm visits, curiosity about these methods only continues to rise, underscoring how an age-old approach can still offer practical answers in a world increasingly focused on sustainability. By dissecting these off-grid innovations, one can glean valuable lessons on efficiency, resourcefulness, and community, lessons that might empower broader audiences seeking to reduce dependence on modern utilities and reconnect with more grounded, time-tested modes of living.